I think it's always good for everyone to put their name rather than Zoom user, because people's memory is not that good enough to remember everyone's name. And we don't want to give too much stress to the mind. That's what this meeting is about. Getting rid of this mind. Less thinking, less stress. So yes, yeah, go ahead. You have a question for us?
Sorry, I think that was me. I beg your pardon. That was accidental. It's Tanya. Sorry, I'm on my phone and I usually do meetings on my computer, but trying to get some privacy in this household is difficult. So hiding away in a small room on my phone, and I can't find how to put my name up. But I'll work that out next time. It's Tanya.
You can just tell your name again.
Thank you.
No, you were going to ask me something, isn't it? That's why you put your hands up.
Sorry, no, I beg your pardon, Tanya. Yeah, that was an accident. I was messing around with settings trying to figure out how I could see you all at the same time, and I think I just inadvertently clicked on hand up. Sorry, apologies.
No, that's all good. All good. But you put a very good question, actually, to me, in a way, I think. You said, because of privacy issues, I put Zoom user, not my name. Maybe you're using this with clients and other people with whom you don't want to open your identity. And I can understand that, and we all agree with that. But this can be a very good clue even for you to be into that opening, that we take a lot of things in our life as personal, private, and we live a dual life. Like we have a private life, a personal life, which is a life of our own dreams and thoughts, desires internally, and then another life in which we have family or close friends or relatives, which we call as my personal life. And then there is another life which we call as professional life or public life, in which we interact with the world. This dual mode of life, which we believe we are leading, is actually all the play of ego, which creates these divisions among our mind as well. So the mind is split in so many ways, not as thoughts, but as identity, a personal identity. This is my family. So our value system is different for some people because they are close to us in some way or the other. And then we have a different value system for the people who are general or public or job. Or, the moment you move back from this identity, even if you want to demarcate, divide beings into different sections, you cannot, because that power is only with ego. You lose this power forever, eternally, when you touch awareness. And that is the beauty of that awareness, because once you touch awareness, these boundaries, these demarcations just disappear, they dissolve. They were all false construct of mind. And the one who believes that he owns this mind and he's creating these things, it just falls away. If you still want to go on this path of non-duality, to be that pure self where no doubt is left, and that pure knowledge after which no relative knowledge you acquire to satisfy yourself. Maybe you might still be looking and doing things, that's okay, but not to get any answers. That answer is that pure self in all of us, where everything will just disappear. All concepts, all notions created by society or education system or culture, and there is no real harm in all those concepts, but all those concepts, when we take as our own concept, it only leads to suffering, because mind always keep changing. One time it will praise a being, next time it will be in a mood of complaint against that same being. And sometimes that person has not done anything wrong to you, but you think that the way that person acted was, you didn't like, whatever the reason is. So understand that this entity is very dangerous. This entity is more dangerous than any dangerous snake, which, like in Australia, we have a lot of different types of snakes. And if you see a lot of programs in which they say that these snakes are very poisonous, but the most poisonous snake is this ego, because you cannot trust it. It always tries to blame others for our unhappiness. And our unhappiness is because of this other within us. If I can explain you, the construct of ego is that other in us. That is not ourself, that is not us. That is that pretentious power of illusion which makes us believe and think we are this body-mind complex. And we are an entity, one individual, and then there are others. Automatically, the moment you think you are this body-mind, then otherness has to come. There is no choice. Even if you, whatever intellectually you can say, all are one, God is one, we all have same soul, but that does not sort out the problem. Move from this wrong identity into this non-identity, where even someone asks you genuinely, honestly, that who you are, you have no answer. You cannot call yourself or put yourself into a sect or a religion or any type of identity. Understand identity is the problem, nothing else. And identity comes when you think you are this body mind. On someone commented on one of the YouTube teachings, and she mentioned that these are beautiful teachings and it is helping me to understand myself, but I have one problem with these teachings. Speaker is using the term he most of the time, and she not all the time with he and she. This is her problem. And I'll tell you, this problem for so many people would look genuine, that speaker should always say he and she, he and she. But go beyond this sex identification, because nowadays it's not ends, doesn't end at he and she, then it's it and they. Then there's no end, to identity. People are so attached to their personal identity, whether it's religious, whether it's sex, whether whatever it is. And each person is attached not to one identity, hundreds of identities. It is a big trap. All these identities are big trap. They will never keep you happy. In those identities, if anything goes wrong, and it has to go wrong, someone might attack that identity in some way, somewhere. Maybe some female is being abused in Canada. Sitting in Australia, you will get hurt that, I am a female and female is being hurt. Or any type of identity, I should say. Unless this identity is dissolved, you can never be happy. You can pretend to be happy. And happiness is not about jumping with joy and, it is that settlement in us where we are always contented, where we are not blaming anyone, including ourselves, if something goes wrong, where you are doing stuff, but there is no doership. Where you cannot say that this is what I am. Nowadays, depression is at such a big rise all over, including Australia. And if you see, the census came back only last week in Australia. So religious people saying that their religious is going down and down, and most of the people who thinks they are atheist or they don't believe is going up and up. I have no problem with that. But then there should be something to fall back for people who don't believe in any religion. And to fall back on that purity where they can be happy. And that is their own pure self. If someone is open to listen to this and try to contemplate that pure awareness from where you can see all these things unfolding, where you are in that neutral zone, impartial, there is no problem. All the problems comes when you take up a role as an identity. Otherwise, working in this world and doing things and meeting people, whatever we act through this body is not a problem. Problem is when we identify ourselves with that role. Look, others will identify you. That is okay. You only have to fix yourself. Your reference point matters. If your reference point is that pure awareness, where you are always impersonal, then you are always contented and blissful. It is your internal environment where you are identifying with different things of this body, mind, or culture, or whatever. being taught, then you are always on your toes because anyone can hurt you because of your identity with so many things. They say that keep asking people around you, are you okay? Because so many people are not okay. In this census, I was surprised to know that every third person in Australia has a chronic illness. That means one third of population is suffering from chronic illness. We're not talking about that you had any headache in last 1 year. Chronic means which you're carrying with you all the time. How pathetic it is. How to be happy. The one who identifies can only pretend to be happy. And the one who has no identification is always happy. This is the difference. And to attain or to abide in that state where you have no personal identity, start witnessing things as they unfold. Start accepting things as they occur. Start remembering that things just happens. So no credit or discredit to anyone, to yourself. Just stay in the zone of acceptance. Actually, this state is natural, effortless state. Effort is only to disentangle yourself from what you always think you are. More you think you are this and that, more time it will take to unfold. And if your mind is open to understand this teaching, then there is nothing else to be done. Understand this non-duality or information is not any meditative process that you sit with your eyes closed and you do mindfulness. Because remember, all meditation techniques don't address the problem. Problem is the one who is doing meditation. Problem is the one who is the doer. So understand that to be in that state is easiest if you agree in form of your mind or ego to start accepting the authority of that awareness as your own self. If you start accepting that as the authority, then where is the problem? Problem is if you still wants to keep that ego, that identity. Identity and ego is exactly the same. The moment you can convince your mind, then the mind will dissolve in this infinite self, which is inclusive of everything, not just human beings, but everything. Everything your eyes can see. It cannot exploit anything. It cannot take advantage of anything. This is its nature. Even if it wants to, it cannot. Only ego can create a damage. When people talk about me and other, the me from where they talk is also other. Understand this, that what you think you are is not you. It's not even close to you. It is actually not even existing. Because of illusion, we have created it. When you have no interest in this me, what you think you are, then it recedes, disappears. And then what is left is that which is always the same, changeless, eternal, which is not dependent on body for its existence. While on the other hand, body is dependent on it. Otherwise, it will be a dead body. Then who dies? Nobody dies. And so, the one who realizes that he is this awareness has no fear. Fear of what? Don't create new concepts in your life, new associations, new methods. There is no need for any method. All methods delay your process of awakening, like as if you are buying time. You are still, that means you are still interested in things in this world and you want to keep that identity to create some restlessness within you and in the world, in both ways. Strong identity creates stronger effect in the world, mostly in a bad way. So it thinks that it is doing it all for good. Once you abide in self, first change is that you are happy, you are contented. The second is you are not looking for happiness in this outer world. So you're not exploiting anyone for any reason. It's only for happiness we try to exploit others, isn't it? We want to gain something. We think that gain will give us happiness. And any obstacle in that gain creates animosity, enemies, resistance, arguments. If you want to finish all unhappiness in one shot, then don't touch identity. Just stay as what you are. And what you are is always peaceful and calm. It does not need any antidepressant, anti anxiety, psychotherapy, behavior therapy. Speech, what we use, is to interact with other beings. But silence is our true nature. And that silence never changes, it always stays the same. Even when the body is in action, mind is thinking, producing a speech, that silence in the background is always there. None other than you. So once we identify or recognize this awareness, that's all. Rest all efforts are not to again identify with the body-mind complex. If that needs efforts, yes, then we have to put efforts. But this state is so natural. It is, all of us are that only. Undifferentiated state in which you cannot claim even your name, because name is given to the body only. What was your name before entering into this body? And what will be your name after leaving this body? And the body is like a play which has been assigned some task and it does it. Sometimes successfully, sometimes not that successfully. And who decides success? It's the society, because society thinks that this thing needs to be done in this way. That's okay, that's all cultural. But you are always free. You have no commitments. And that is the meaning of that total freedom which comes by knowing what you are. When you stay in the mind, you think you are this body, then you are under the pump for every small thing. Then you talk about your responsibilities and your rights and all sorts of things. But abiding in pure awareness, you don't know about any rights. And the body does its things in the way it can, but you have no burden of any responsibility. Your identification with everything is equal or nothing. In both ways, you stay in this choiceless state where you can't pick one thing and reject another thing. And the most beautiful thing happens in this is that that absolute or that power chooses things for you or rejects things for you, and you accept it because that power, that absolute, does it in the most beautiful way, which even you cannot do. You know how the mind is? You accept something, you decide on something, and after 2 days you say, oh, no, 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 it was wrong. I have to do this. Then you change again. We see all confused minds around us. It cannot decide anything. Archana has question, but we can't see Archana. Archana, can you switch on your video?
I've been actually doing a lot of what you say self inquiry, for many years, but I've been trying to use that like in my life, in my relationships, but there was always this conflict of like, if I give up my identity, then how do I achieve anything in life? Because to achieve anything in life, I have to have some goal, and some goal comes, with the, um, you know, um, like you have to have some structure in your head that this is what you want and the reason why you want it and what are you doing it for and all that. So there's always been that question within me, that uh, like even when like I was doing the things I was doing, like living my daily whatever, there was always this separation between, like when I'm interacting with anybody or when I'm doing anything, there's like sort of as if I'm here and this is what I'm projecting and this is who I am, like as if that gap thing. Do you get what I'm saying?
So you can watch your
And
ego.
yes, but uh, it was always it was a very difficult state to live in all my life, because I feel as if this is me and then I'm doing these roles and I'm not happy in these roles. Uh, but then I have to do these roles because I've chosen it already. And as if I have to fulfill that. It's a commitment. For instance, the marriage or the job that I took on and the role of whatever, just, um, being like I don't know, the one my family can vent, like being I don't know, like the support or emotional like support. And then at one point as if I was standing on a very thin rope and managing my, just these worldly things. And then when it came to a point of like, sorry, allowed to ask a personal question here?
Yeah, go ahead. Whatever is.
Okay. So I was going on and on with all this, and then it came to a point where I had like a traumatic experience. It was like I basically went through a pregnancy, and I was I due to all that, I don't know, this is a longer story, but I lost the baby. And then from that on, I started questioning everything, like what I've been doing and why this happened. And at some level, I think some chemical imbalance happened in my head, and I could not watch myself that way anymore. Like I used to be able to watch myself like as if I fell in my consciousness or something. And
How long
then
ago?
4 years ago now, and I haven't been able to fully come back. Like I went into depression, and like my sense of self, whatever that I had. I mean, I was aware of myself and my identity self, but I could not keep up with that identity anymore because it was not me, because I was playing a very like go-getter role. And in my essence, I felt like I'm more feminine. I want to take it easy. I want to go with the flow. I want to I want to relax. I want to be in the nurturing. But I was playing the opposite all along. And then I just crashed because I think at some level my body was not accepting the child, because I was too hyper with all the roles that I was playing. And I felt like the environment pushed me into that role. I could not get out of that role unless I left the environment. It was just like every like in the work I was dealing with, everybody related to me as if I was like, I was a robot or something. I had no emotions or my own needs, and I felt like empty in a way. And since I crashed, like I have felt this, pain in my, and I have a sobbing breath. It's been 4 years, and I feel I like somebody told me here that I have a neurosis issue. So I'm really concerned that, which way was the right way to live, and who. I'm confused now. Like, am I just like, why can't I live a normal life like people? All I wanted was to have a baby and have.
I'll tell you a very beautiful thing about this
Sorry.
normal life. I will tell you a beautiful thing about this normal life. Have you done? Sorry, I interrupted you, or you're going on at the moment.
No, I'm kind of done. I just need help. Yeah. Because
Okay,
I feel I'm not well. I'm not well, like emotionally, mentally, I'm not well, and I'm not able to do anything like the way I used to do before, which obviously I didn't enjoy, but at least I was living some role. And but now it's like, when I think of like, I'm a human being, so I have some human needs which have been unmet. And when you say about, if I'm a nobody and ignore the mind, ignore the body, but I still feel as if, oh no, then I'm in pain inside, because I feel like a whole, like I've been taking care of people and I need to be taken care of, and I have, and should I ignore my needs? Should I, my human needs? Yeah.
can I say something?
Yeah.
All what you're talking is, that's what it is all about. I was saying, when we have this identity, to give up this identity, somehow the mind will produce so strong thoughts and will say exactly what you were saying, Archana. Exactly, this is what it will say. You have put so many beautiful words. This is what it will say, not in your head, in every human being's head, that I have done for others and others are not, and I'm emotionally broken, and I'm in these roles and I'm trying to be away, but still I'm a human being, and a human being has needs. Exactly, this is, everyone's mind talks exactly the same the moment they want to witness things. But if you don't want to witness, then it looks like you are so ignorant that all these thoughts will not come, because you're not asking for any freedom from the mind. The mind can keep you really well, in a sense that you feel that you are well, but internally there is pain, there is suffering. You want that belongingness. And if you see, you think that the people around you are more happy, it is just illusion. If you sit with someone, and if someone knows you well, then you will know how much suffering they are carrying inside. But people just put up with it, and they don't share everything with everyone. And nowadays we have these social media like Facebook and whatever it is, in which people put the best face. So there's like a fake book. They don't say when they have problem with their spouse, when they are punching each other or yelling, but they will put a nice picture together. It is big drama. The word is ego plays all sorts of dramas. The moment you decide to get rid of this ego within you, you will be in bliss. I can't say whether you will be earning more, or you will have a baby, or you will have a better partner. I can't say those things. whatever the life movie is going on, we don't have much control in that. But at least in one thing, we all have control, that is to stay happy. In spite of whatever is happening, we can be happy. We can be, and it is not just intellectual understanding of any concept. There is no concept in it. This mind, which is talking to you like this, it has given suffering to everyone in its own way, in a different story. But I'll tell you, the story of every human being is same. In every human story, we are the one who are suffering, and everyone is suffering in that sense. Stories can be different, reasons can be different, and how to be free from this suffering and how to be happy. Definitely definitely ego wants love from outside to be happy, but I'll tell you, all happiness, all love is in us. If you open this jewel box within you, it I can understand where you're coming from, and we all start our journey from the ego mind complex. Don't use bigger words that I am awareness and I'm not the mind body. How much you say, but it reflects when we interact in this world and how we feel. The simplest step could be to start our journey today inwardly by witnessing these emotions rather than being part of these emotions, by witnessing these thoughts rather than being part of all these thoughts and brooding and getting like, actually I'll tell you, there is a duality in all of us. There are these thoughts, and then here we are and we get involved. So that pure consciousness somehow gets into this illusion of these thoughts and feelings and emotions and the story of this body, and makes it that it is my own suffering and suffers. If you want to get rid of this suffering, you have to detach from this story, from this mind. But it is not like this. It is by just watching the show from a distance, from within, and you will start noticing it is a lot of efforts. And I can understand, Archana, when you were witnessing, the times were pretty good. There was no major tragedy or drama happening in life. But the moment big things came, they just crashed you or they overpowered you. Like they caused your boat to sink. Like you were trying to be aware and all, and then something big came, like a big wave came, and it just, and now you find that with that drowning in all these tragic events, you are not finding a way to come out of it. Rather, that mind is giving you all sorts of excuses not to leave this identity. First, it is causing all the suffering, and number two, it does not want you to leave it. How cunning the mind is. So understand the tricks of the mind, and I'll tell you, it is like a game. It is like, how should I say, it is the game of this Maya, this illusion, the way it plays with itself. I don't know, maybe it enjoys but causes us suffering. And how to be free is only by realizing what you are. And please don't think that it is happening only to few chosen people. It is happening every day to someone, every day. Only thing is, most of the people are not paying attention to it. They are not looking here. But if you start sincerely looking here, the fake identity mind has created, self-construct, and causing suffering will fall apart. And when it will fall apart, only thing is contentment, peace, and bliss. You can call it happiness because you are not searching for any happiness in anything. Actually, ego is very pity state because it always wants love, wants attention, wants everything. It has a lot of wants and desires, which it thinks if they get fulfilled, I'll be happy. And that day never comes. Before that, death comes to the body. It never finishes. I'll tell you, the moment you touch this jewel in your heart, you will know this infinite love which will embrace you from within. What love we are looking outside, that love hugs us from inside. And that hug is so beautiful, I'll tell you. It is like you're always in this unending joy all the time, irrespective of the situation around you. The body might be suffering from cancer. You might be dying soon. People hate you. But that unending, blissful joy will never leave you. You just have to tap into it once. But it will never come to you if you have any personal identity. That is the only thing which you have to follow. Any personal identity of anything means that ego is there, and ego is occupying that, like it is obstructing the door to enter this pure self. And so this is very important, Archana, that ego or the identity has to go. There is no other way. And for that, you can be more devoted to that pure energy, pure self in you, which is equally distributed among all beings. There is no one born without it. So it's not that I don't have it. Only thing is you're not experiencing it because you're not paying attention to it. The moment you start paying attention to it, it unfolds from within. Before that, whatever the journey is in which people are saying they're witnessing, that is only the mind playing mind's game. It is just taking the role of a policeman looking for that thief in the form of and witnessing. It is all happening in the domain of mind. When the true witnessing happens, then you are free. And it is always not that easy for people to understand. First is you understand. Second is you agree to do that. And then third, you put some efforts. If you have that longing for it, it will happen. It has to happen. It is you. Why will it not happen? Let's say you are dreaming and you are in illusion and someone says this is a dream, wake up, and you agree with that person. Then what is going to continue that dream? Only your self-interest in that dream, isn't it? I would suggest you that you listen to this recording again. In your resting state and contemplate on this truth. This is your truth. This is my truth. This is everyone's truth. Disentangle from all this mind. Understand how it traps us. And sometimes it looks like there is no way to be out of it. But there is. And there is grace within, and I can see you are here and you're listening to it. Though A very unsettled mind might not even listen the whole and might just leave now. But there's some grace which is keeping you there in spite of whatever the mind is talking. Have faith in it. Believe in it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so
And
much.
we'll